Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am Matt Capper. This is another video on Fateless's Godforge. Another reaction to another video they put out there. Which Godforge legendary is the strongest hero? They've previewed 3. Which of those 3 is the best so far? Let's find out. Let's react. Let's see if we agree. Functionally, obviously one of them is going to be strongest, but there's going to be some different kits. I don't know. We'll see what happens. This is really early in the morning. I got to get my intake of coffee from Atlantic Canada. So I got a long work day today, so we got to get the coffee intake. We got to get the coffee intake. All right, let's move on over and react. Fateless.
Hey guys, this is Simon from Fateless.
Simon.
Welcome to another video where we show you some more footage from
gameplay.
Today we're going to be going head to head in 3 of the legendaries which we got out for the demo, showing you their kits, showing you their animations, generally showing you what they look like inside the roster screen. And I want you guys to tell me which ones are your faves. Which ones do you think are the best ones that we've got from the game? I've recorded some of the footage this time from a phone. So we did optimize the footage for Gamescom on a Samsung S23, I think it was. So this time I've recorded footage from the phone just so you can kind of see what that looked like, and hope you enjoy it. I also want to say thanks to everyone who's joined the Patreon, the Discord. We've got over 14,000 people in the Discord now. Anyone who signed up for the beta
got
already,
all my money,
I'll put all of those
Simon.
links down below.
Now give me my game.
And all of you lovely people that are subscribing to this YouTube channel. It's really helping us. We're growing at a really fast rate considering where we are in our development. So let's jump into this then. I pretty much picked out the 3 of the legendaries which a lot of people seem to really dig right now. So hopefully that's you as well. But as I say, let me know 1, 2, or 3 which ones are your favorites out of this
1,
group.
2.
So the first one we're going to check out here is going to be the...
Okay, so it's Odin. And we've done this game before, but I want to do it again. This looks a little different, oddly enough, than the last demo. The lockouts look a little bit different than they did before, but he's a Chaos Disruptor. Was he a Disruptor before? I think so. So Disruptor is probably crowd control. Chaos, I don't know if that I don't know what that refers to. I don't know if that refers to his affinity. Is his affinity Chaos? Because there's Brawl, or is that just that's his class? I don't know. He's from Asgard. Okay, let's...
Big boy, Anubis. So Anubis, the Shepherd of Shadows. I really...
Or Anubi, as the French would call him.
Really love the design, honestly. I think the art team have done a fantastic
this game
design.
before? No, he is
Chaos
Anubi.
Brawler from the Aru faction. Really cool design. I especially love the back view with the kind of like flesh type of tendrils coming off of his cape. And he's just waiting for a little bit of VFX, but he's kind of close to being done, actually. So really, really pleased with the work the team have done with this dude. The second one on the list is going to be Aphrodite.
Oh, hold on. You're not even doing Odin? You teased me Odin, then you went right to Anubi and Aphrodite.
So she's got this kind of like mirror staff. We do need some updates on some of the textures on her skin. There's a kind of like waxy feel to it at the moment, which we're going to update. That's a bit of a bug. But we've got here an Invoker of Chaos from the Olympus faction. Aphrodite looking very, very sexy. And then the last one is going to be Arthur Pendragon. So King Arthur, the protector of Avalon. He's now got Avalon as his crest. So he is part of the Avalon faction. That's been fixed. And I just think the design is super sweet.
Defender.
Yes, the shield is ridiculous. Yes, it's on purpose. And I just think
Invoker. So she's a Chaos Invoker. So I don't think it's... Maybe I'm wrong, but I didn't think it said Invoker last time. Did she say Invoker? I thought she was a Disruptor as well before. That might be new. Maybe I'm just...
It's going to be Arthur Pendragon. So King Arthur, the protector of Avalon. He's now got Avalon as his crest. So he is part of the Avalon faction. That's been fixed. And...
So, you know these guys are passionate about their game and passionate about the comments around their game. There were a lot of comments about the oversize of a shield and that it was underplaying Excalibur. You know, so he mentions the shield. the fact that he didn't have the proper banner, which a few of us mentioned. So
I
mean,
think
that's
the
the
design
type
is
of
super
passion
sweet.
you want.
Yes, the
Me
shield is
personally,
ridiculous. Yes, it's on purpose. We do need some VFX for the sword and stuff. But yeah, let's jump into their skills. Right then, let's start off with Anubis. So Anubis,
I think one of the things to keep in mind here, and it's interesting, is their skill set. We haven't actually talked about their skills of these three, so it'll be interesting to see how much are they leaning into the lore. Like Anubis should be playing with undead, playing with the dead. So we'll see what that is. Arthur, hopefully there's an Excalibur. Hopefully they lean into the lore of Excalibur and as well as the leadership of Arthur. And then the third one was Aphrodite, who is of course the goddess of love, or isn't she, or goddess of sexiness? I don't even. Was there a
Anubis is A1 or his basic attack, Soul Guide. Attacks an enemy with percentage of his attack and max HP. If the enemy dies, has got a chance to put fear on all other enemies. That's his basic attack. We'll then go into his second skill, his core skill, Embalming Blast. Attacks all enemies with attack and max HP. 75% chance to put Corrupt and Initiative down for 2 turns. And then his ultimate, Weigh the Scales. Attacks all enemies down for 2 turns.
Initiative down. So is that like a turn? Is that basically messing with turn meter? I'm guessing, because that's something new we haven't seen in the last one. We haven't seen Corrupt either. Is Corrupt making them more? Corrupt is in purple, but it's a debuff. So isn't purple? I think we determined was crowd control. Or is this like a vulnerability to a state, maybe? An initiative down is turn meter control.
And then his ultimate, Weigh the Scales, attacks
Drain, which is a debuff. Is Drain like a siphon, like a health? Is it just an anti-health, almost like not like bleed, like percentage based, like bleed, poison. Typically these ignore defense, they're pure damage, and they're just based on a percentage of health. Is Drain like that, or is it like a weakness where it makes him more susceptible? I would think that Drain would be purple if it was a susceptibility thing, just kind of based on the few videos we've seen.
All enemies, 200% attack and 15% max HP, and a chance to put Drain for 2 turns on all enemies. Repeat it if the enemies have got less than half of their divinity. That's Anubis for you.
First off, we have no freaking idea about divinity other than it unlocks ultimates and stuff, but the enemy has divinity too. So I'm curious. That's interesting.
Also got his passive here, so gains 20% turn meter whenever any unit dies from Tomb Watcher. Aphrodite.
So he's not specifically playing with the dead, but he's the harbinger of death. He is the one bringing people in, the souls in, I guess would be. So the lore wise, kit looks good. A lot of questions about what the kit does, but interesting so far.
So a basic skill, Lover's Duet. Attacks an enemy with attack, increases the turn meter of allies that have got speed up and initiative up by 10%, and then places speed up 2 on herself as well. A second skill, a core skill, Divine Sacrament. Target an ally, puts speed up and initiative up for 3 turns and goes again. And then our ultimate, Temptation of the Flesh.
See, but that's the purple, and that's what confused me, is because they had purple on the text, but red on the for Corrupt. But Confuse is obviously a percentage chance to do the wrong thing. Stun is obvious. I'm place Confuse for 2 turns on enemies whose resistance is equal to or less than this hero's accuracy. So there is an accuracy component. There is a resistance component, which is something I don't know if we specifically have seen before. We have stun, or greater than this hero's stun cannot be resisted. So it confuses enemies that aren't high resistance, stuns those who are, which cannot be resisted. If a confuse or stun disable is resisted or blocked, decreases that enemy's turn. So if confuse is resisted, holy crap. So if my resistance is the same as her accuracy, it places it, but I can still resist it, because I'm guessing it's not just Well, if your accuracy is 1 higher than my resistance, then it's 100% chance is why that is in there. Dear God, if you put a 3% in there, Simon, I swear to God, I will go to the UK and we will have a stern talking. A stern talking if there's a 3%. Just saying. People know my history with RNG. The 3%. I have a mug. And then the stun cannot be resisted, but in this case, if it's blocked because they have some sort of, block debuff or that sort of thing, then they reduce her turn meter by 25, and then she gets 50% divinity when placing a buff on an ally. Why does that? I don't understand why gain 50 divinity when placing a buff on an ally. Is that supposed? Why is that on the ultimate? Because these aren't buffs. But the buffs are the other ones. So shouldn't that be like on a passive or just a talent maybe? Maybe you need a talent for that? I'm confused.
Attacks all enemies with 400% attack. Puts Confuse on them for 2 turns, where the resistance is equal or less than this hero's accuracy. And then puts a stun for 1 turn on enemies whose resistance is equal or greater to this champion's.
Typically Confuse. I feel like maybe he had mentioned this before. Maybe he didn't, and I'm thinking of a different skill. But typically Confuse is something where you can actually get them to attack their own team. Like it's a random thing. So we'll have to see what their implementation of it. But I think of Confuse, when your allies confused, they may hit you, they may hit the enemy, they may miss altogether. It's confusion.
Accuracy, so it depends which way round. The stun cannot
Interesting,
be...
400% attack. Are there hidden multipliers in this game? Because there's another game we all know that loves the hidden multipliers, where a person could have a 1700 base attack and hit weaker than someone with a 1400 base attack, even if their skill is the same, because of these hidden multiplier. That is as hidden as nothing, because everyone can just read it in the code and then just has it published everywhere anyway. So I'm guessing because she's a crowd control, she's gonna have a low attack, but this is gonna hit for 400% of whatever.
Be resisted. If a confuse or stun disable is resisted or blocked, decrease that enemy's turn meter by 25%. Massive ultimate coming from Aphrodite there in her kit. Passive skill, Eternal Bonds. Allies under speed up and initiative up gain 20% more healing turn meter and will do 20% more damage from attacks. So
that's her passive? Her passive allows... Bring that... Allies that have speed up or init up, which she places. And I think it's a single target, but it's a 2 turn, so there could be 2, or if there's multiple on the team or something. Or if you have, I guess you could have buff spread in the future. They gain 20% more healing turn meter and will deal 20% more damage from attacks. That's pretty boss. So she's giving them the increased initiative, the increased speed. You put this on, say, like, one of the big hitters, Herc, for example. Why is Valkyrie an epic and Hercules is a legendary? Hercules should be an epic, in my opinion. Just saying. Just my opinion. Because it's demigod. Like, if he's a legendary, then what's Zeus? A super legendary? Yeah, I'm just saying. Or does the son become better than the dad? I don't know. It's a whole lot of questions. Okay, so that's awesome.
Will do 20% more
I like
damage
her better
from
than
attacks.
Anubis
So
so
last
far.
one then, King Arthur Pendragon. It's basic attacks an enemy, 50% chance to place a taunt on them, and puts...
So he attacks an enemy, which is 150% of his defense plus 75% of his attack. I really love it when you use both stats. You know how much I love that. Thank you for putting that in. Has 50% chance to place taunt. It's on his basic, so that's pretty hype. Place an intercept for 1 turn on a random ally, so he'll take the damage for a random ally.
An
like
intercept
that.
on a random ally as well. The core skill...
200%, 100%, has 75% chance to place attack down for 2 turns. AoE 75, and we don't see what books or whatever sort of skill ups do. This could go up to 100% when the skill ups are added into the game. We don't know that yet. Increases the defense of Avalon allies by 10%. So now it's a faction based skill up to 30%. So I'm guessing that's for the round.
Excalibur's cool attacks all enemies with his defense and attack. 75% chance to put an attack down on all enemies, and increases the defense of Avalon allies as well. And in the
ultimate King's Oath places a retaliate for 2 turns on this hero. Place a mortal for 2 turn on allies with higher defense than attack. Place vanish for 2 turns on allies with higher attack than defense. So vanish is an invisibility, so it means they can't directly be attacked. Obviously, immortal means they can't be killed. I don't know if that means they can't, if it's because there's 2 types usually. There's the immortal of 0 incoming damage versus immortal, which is like a block damage versus unable to die. 2 different things. You can take damage but live at 1 health. Think block damage versus unkillable in other games.
ultimate King's Oath places retaliate for 2 turns on himself, puts immortal on for 2 turns on allies with high defense, and vanish on allies with high attack. And then lastly, his passive reduces damage taken from intercept attacks by 50%, will heal by 10% max HP when intercepting damage from an ally. So that's the 3 of them.
Okay, so I have a little bit of confusion on his kit. He gains divinity when this hero counterattacks. Which seems
Avalon
like
allies as well.
It seems like he doesn't have a counterattack ability himself, though we don't know the implementation of intercept. Does intercept mean he not only takes the damage but then counters? Is that part of the intercept? We don't know. We obviously haven't seen the full breakdown of how they've implemented a lot of these buffs, debuffs, and crowd control. So that's a little weird. We also don't know the divinity mechanic 100%, but I would say that to me, it always seems like this should almost be a talent. Obviously, it's tied to the ultimate in that the divinity unlocks the ultimate, is my understanding. Maybe, as I have no idea because I haven't played the game or built it, but I guess if they're always putting this is the whole thing. This is part of their ultimate thing. It's almost like a passive. Every time he counterattacks, he gains 100 divinity. But he doesn't have a natural counterattack unless intercept also includes a counterattack, which I'm starting to think it does. Otherwise, what's the point of having a counterattack? That's like, putting a skill on a champion that he doesn't have an inherent way to use the skill. Kind of seems a little crazy. But who's the best?
And in the ultimate, King's Oath places retaliate for 2 turns on himself, puts immortal on, reduces damage taken from intercept attacks by 50%, will heal by 10% max HP when intercepting damage from an ally. So that's the 3 of them. We're just going to look at some of their animations now and bring some of these skills to life. Right, we're going to check out Anubis first from some of the footage that Dan had captured already. So we go straight in with the ults. We then unleash the A2.
Why did the A2 hit
pretty cool?
Harder?
Our team get a few attacks in here. And we're going to see the A1 in a second as well. So this is all footage taken from the demo. And obviously there's plenty of work to be done. We've kind of taken a bunch of feedback on from demo players. But we do think that we're already in a pretty good spot considering, we're still near enough a year out from going live. So he's going to be next. We see on the turn order on the left. Here's his basic attack with the scythe coming in with a double hit. Okay, then next up is going to be Aphrodite's skill sets. So she's going to come in and open with her ult. I love this one so much. Super cool. Bam. Hits your whole team with the stun, as we just spoke about. She then goes into her A2, which at the moment is bugged. And is doing it on our team instead of her team. And she's then going to use her A1. So that's her 3 animated skills. What do you think of those? So the final one is King Arthur. Now, this is not going to feel...
I will say that I feel like... I feel like the fact that no one got confused bothers me. So they obviously haven't implemented the accuracy piece into the game, or with with just the stats they had on the champions, it wasn't there. I'm a little bit. I wanted to see Confuse in action, so that's unfortunate.
Still quite as sexy because it doesn't have VFX. It's still in this kind of blockout mode, but to try and keep it fair for your choices, I'll show you where they are so far. There's still plenty of work to be done. This is his basic attack. Or in fact, I'll start with the ult because this is what I've been doing so far. So the ultimate ability, expect a whole bunch of cool effects coming off him here. That's all we've got so far. That's what
It
we've
looks
got.
like he's doing like the
his
hip
core
thrust.
ability. Excalibur's cool. Again, expect a bunch more stuff going on when this kicks off in the game.
I mean, it's
so hard to see what they're actually going to be at this stage. And then his basic ability is Loyal Strike, just coming in with the Sword Slam. Again, expect a lot more. It's going to be so hard for people to be like, yeah, King Arthur's the one, based on seeing it at that stage. But there you go. 3 legendaries. Which one is your favorite so far? And yeah, don't forget to come and join us on the Discord. Appreciate everyone who's supporting with the Patreon stuff. And don't forget to sub to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also, by the way, I've not said it so far, but there's so many other Godforge channels that are already out there now. Make sure you go and check them out. I'll link some of those down below as well. Anyway, I've been Simon from Fateless, and I'll see you soon.
Okay, let's talk about it. I have more questions. As every video they put out, I have more questions. My first question is, why did I not get to see Confuse in action? I really wanted to see. I know what Stun does. I don't know what Confuse does, and I think that was either accidentally on purpose or purposely on accident. By accident. There's no such thing as on accident. On as purpose. Okay. I mean, Aphrodite is by far the strongest of the 3. I don't even think it's close. I think that her kit is, I mean, she's one of the strongest, and right now she's buffing the other team. Can you imagine when she's properly buffing her team? Boom. I truly think that her kit's going to be obscene. Having Confuse, having Stun, having Speed Up, you having Initiative Up. Give that Initiative Speed Up is going to make your nuker hit harder and get to do that quicker. And it does everything. It's hers is, as far as looks, Anubis, he's probably the most polished. So I think you just got to say from a look standpoint, probably he's winning. From a kit, it ain't even close in my opinion. Aphrodite might be the best champion in the game come release with a kit like that. And as far as King Arthur, poor guy, I like him. He looks cool. He comes in a close second for cool factor. Obviously, his skill set doesn't look as sexy when it's just in the modeling phase. My problem with King Arthur, and it was mentioned before, and I thought it was a little bit unfair comment, but now that I see the whole kit breakdown, I actually agree with the comment. Why isn't Excalibur in his kit? I feel like that's a real miss. Like, you don't even have to change. Like, if there's something like the Intercept, call of Excalibur or something of Excalibur in his ultimate, something where his ultimate deals with him calling the Lady of the Lake. What an opportunity that's missed there, in my opinion. Though I guess the Lady of the Lake could be a champion in the game, so we got to watch that. And I assume she will be if you're gonna have an Avalon group. You've got your Knights of the Round Table, which people often say is 12. There's not. There's a whole bunch. There's some that are in some versions of the lore, some that are in other versions. Bernard Cromwell does a really great series of books. They actually made The Winter King is based on his books, which is the new one that just came out recently. There's so much they can do. Like there's so many lords and there's so many different interpretations of. It's going to be fun to see Avalon. I think Avalon's going to be my favorite just because, unlike all the others so far, Avalon doesn't have gods. They have Merlin, who's a druid, and they have Lady of the Lake, who might be a god, but they don't have the typical. So how they implement those and the different ways that they are, and which knights they choose, and which of the others, Mordred going to be, Morgana. You know who I'm talking about. Are they gonna have the daddy, which is what his name, Uriel or Uther Pendragon? Sorry, I don't know where my head's got. So yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff there. I think I do wish there was something Excalibur-esque about his about Arthur's kit, which is why I definitely. But either way, I think Aphrodite's kit's just better than the others. That's my take on it. What's your take? What do you think for style, for kit, and for action? Those are the three different areas: style, actual kit, and the actions, the implementation of the look of the champion. Let me know in the comments down below. But until they put out another video, this will be my video. And as always, please be kind, be safe, and we'll see you in the next video.